Hello, Houston. How's everyone doing today? I'm Jason Hammond. I am the A-Steam Manager at the Children's Museum Houston. And today I have for you an Educator moment that is brought to you by the W.T. and Louise J. Moran Foundation and Centerpoint Energy. I'm including Centerpoint Energy because I'm going to be talking a lot about energy. Not the kind of energy you think of, possibly like electricity or natural gas, but the type of energy that is actually all around us and we don't even notice it all the time. One of these energies I'll talk about is actually run on electricity, so that's another good reason to put Centerpoint into this one as well. Anyways, it's going to seem like I'm not going to talk about energy at first, but I definitely will be. Just we have to kind of get through some stuff, and then you'll see what I mean. So this morning I got up really early, and I went through a walk. And as I was walking around, I noticed like the night sky was really clear. And I was able to see a bunch of what we call constellations. Constellations are recognized patterns in the sky that represent something. And they represent different things to different people and different cultures. But astronomy people tend to recognize the Greek and the adventurers of the 16th, 17th, 18th century names of these constellations, even though there can be quite a few different names for them and quite a few different ways of looking at them. And then again, there's something really confusing called asterisms, which is a constellation sort of within a constellation. It's sort of like a pattern of stars within a mechanized constellation that actually is sometimes more recognizable than the constellation itself. We'll get into that in a second. Anyways, I'm seeing these constellations, and I was thinking to myself, that's like a really fun activity. Like you can actually make constellations. And fortunately for everyone here in Houston, if you go on our website, we have a bunch of these constellation patterns that you can either download or print, or if you just have it on your computer, you can just look at them and copy them. And I don't have all of the constellations. There's actually 88 recognized constellations, both in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. I have about 24 that you can choose from. So if you want to do more than 24, you have to look up the rest yourself, which is very easy to do. You just go do Google search it and you'll find whatever you need to find. I picked the ones I picked because a lot of them are very recognizable. Some of them are in the zodiac, which is, it's going through the plane of the ecliptic, these different stars. So the sun's actually in them every now and again, or they're going through the path of the sun. And, it's like your birth thing, like you're a Cancer or you're a this or you're a that. So I included those and also some of the more recognizable ones. I even included a few asterisms because asterisms are cool. So what I have here is all these different constellations, like here's Cancer and here's Libra. That's another one in the zodiac. The only non-animal in the zodiac. This is the scale. Here's Aquarius. All these different ones. Now here's a cool one. This is called Microscopium. This is not one that is found here in the northern hemisphere. It's found in the southern hemisphere, and it was named by sailors and navigators and scientists because they were the ones who first went to the southern hemisphere as explorers, even though there were people there already. Aries, you got all kinds of ones here. Here's one of those asterisms I was talking about, the Little Dipper. The Little Dipper's an asterism. It's very recognizable, but it's part of what we call Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor. And Ursa Minor means the little bear. And then obviously there's a big bear called Ursa Major, and the Big Dipper is found in that. So you have all these different constellations to choose from, and then you're able to use very simple materials to make them. Basically, I took a piece of cardstock, I took some UV beads, and I took some glue, and I recreated Scorpius right here. I just glued it on like that. And you can see I labeled it and everything like that. And it's really kind of fun because you can make more and more of them, and then you can actually look at the night sky pattern, like a big whole night sky, and you can try to set them up that way. Now, the beads I use are the reasons why I'm going to talk about energy just a little bit. I used what we call UV beads, ultraviolet beads. And what that means is if I put them near the sun, they will change color. Now, these are not hard beads to find, and in fact, you could probably order them through Amazon or whatever right now. And they're very inexpensive. They're just a very unique type of bead. If you have different beads, it's okay to use those as well. But I only had UV beads, so that's why I used the UV beads I have here. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by they change color. Just follow me. I'm gonna walk over to the window here. I'm gonna put these by the window. And then, after a second or so, I'm gonna put these back up, and you can see that they've changed color. But they're no longer white beads, they're now different color beads. Now, that's because our sun, which is very bright over there, is pushing out all these different types of energy that are part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, the electromagnetic spectrum has all types of energies, all the way from very, very low, non-intense energies like radio, which is the least intense, and then you have like television waves. They've actually included that now into it. You have microwave, and you know, that's what I was saying, that uses electricity, because I have a microwave right here, and you can see like there's an energy that helps us cook our food. Okay, then you have infrared, and infrared is that sort of like heat energy. You know, like if you have those special goggles, you can actually see people through walls walking around, you know, because they're letting off heat. And then you have the one that we actually can see, which is visible light. Visible light is all the colors of the rainbow mixed into one white light, which is what we normally see. Now, if you take white light and you refract it like into a prism or something like that, it breaks up into all those colors of the rainbow. And maybe you've heard of this, Roy G. Biv. That's the colors of the rainbow, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's the visible light that we see. That's how we're able to see things. And just above Roy G. Biv, the visible light, is something called ultraviolet, beyond violet. And that is an invisible energy that we actually have to protect ourselves from, because it can get very, very, very dangerous for us. If we didn't have an atmosphere around the planet Earth, the ultraviolet radiation from the sun would actually cause us to burn quite badly, and we would not be able to survive. So good thing we have an atmosphere, yay! So that's the whole point. We go above the visible light, we have ultraviolet, and that energy, although it's invisible, we can see its effects when we do the thing with the stars, or those beads right there. We can see those effects. Then you have X-ray and gamma rays, and those are really, really high energy and like really short waves, okay? So that's an interesting thing that can be done with this kind of activity, is you can actually learn, like you're making little star patterns, and you can actually use these beads, put them into the light or the energy of a star we know, and you have a change. So it's actually using our star for science in your own home, which is really kind of cool. So I encourage you all, if you can find UV beads, to find them and use them. But again, if not, you can go ahead and just use regular pop beads or whatever you have at home, and they're still a lot of fun. Like I said, on our website, we have 24 of these constellations that you can use, the patterns that we have. But if you want to use all 88, you have to go ahead and find them yourself. Please go to our website. There's lots of cool science stuff up there. We have like the Mr. Oh wow moments right now. We have stories that people are telling that you can hear us read these stories. You know, because a lot of us, you know, we're at home right now, and we need to have some fun, entertaining things to do. And science is fun and entertaining, and hearing stories is fun and entertaining, and all that good stuff. So please go to our website, check out what we have. We're going to keep putting things up. Hopefully you have time to do all this stuff, and I hope you have a fun time doing all this stuff. Once again, I want to thank the WT and Louise J. Moran Foundation and Centerpoint Energy for sponsoring A-Steam. We actually normally take these out to schools and do outreach programs with them, but right now we're allowing them to be done at your home, where you can have fun and learn science. So this is Jason saying thanks for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.